Kia ora team. So, 3 things that I learned as a pharmacist. Yes, for those of you that don't know, I used to be a pharmacist. I studied in Dunedin, went to the University of Otago, did pharmacy, did my internship in Palmy, and then worked as a pharmacist for a few years before then deciding to do something else, actually a personal trainer, and then start another business. So yes, here are 3 things that I learned when I was a pharmacist. Number 1 is trust is critical. Building trust and being really good at developing trusting relationships is so important. Example number 1 would be in the team. In our team, in our little pharmacy there, when I was an intern, I had an awesome preceptor. That's the person who basically supervises you as an intern. She was from the UK. I had also the guy that had just finished his internship, who was now a newly registered pharmacist. He was from India. The rest of our team were from all over the place, like all around the world. So we had a pretty multicultural team. The cool thing about it was my preceptor, who was the manager there, was awesome at getting people to work to their strengths. And she was good at that because she was able to build really good relationships of trust. I was just over in the UK recently, and while I was there, I was thinking about her, and this is like 20 years ago, thinking about her, recognizing, man, this is the place that she came from, and thinking about no wonder she likes being in New Zealand and living in the place that she was, and she enjoyed running. There were some connections still being made there 20 years later. Building trust is super important. Second example I'd give for that is working with the whānau and the patients and the people that come into the pharmacy. You've got to be able to build a good relationship of trust with them. You're going to see them pretty regularly. Being able to ask good questions, being able to find out not just about what they're taking or the medicine stuff or the well-being side of things, but just about their whānau, like who they are, getting to know them as a person, treating them as people and not as a condition was pretty important. So definitely one of the cool things I learned was how building trust is such an important part of what we did. The second thing would definitely be the importance of getting to root causes and not being stuck at the symptom level of treatment. So for us, I mean, obviously in medicines, you're given a bunch of medicines to treat a symptom or trying to manage or control a particular condition. And so getting to the root cause was actually super important. Would ask good questions, would find out, would do our best to kind of go down another couple of layers if possible to try and help people with their well-being. It was interesting to see, I guess, people who had already decided that they were happy with just the symptom management or symptom control and weren't actually interested in trying to make a change of the root cause or even wanting to know about what that was too much. It's almost like they'd resigned themselves to the fact that I'm just going to keep taking these medicines for the rest of my life. I guess a quick example of that would be some of the lifestyle medicines that people take. Lifestyle medicines basically means medicines that you would use to prevent, treat, or manage a chronic condition. Yeah, it was interesting that some people would prefer to just keep taking the medicines indefinitely instead of kind of addressing maybe a deeper cause or a root cause that would help them. For example, they didn't want to change their normal exercise or diet routine, or they didn't want to change the way they were thinking and feeling, or they didn't want to change some of the relationships they were in that they knew were not good for them, or they didn't want to change any of the other number of things that were going on that were probably contributing to the unwellness that they were experiencing. The second thing that I got was it's really important to get to root causes and really to do that through find out questions and to figure out what is the best way to get to a root cause if people are willing. And that was really the key, if people are willing. The third thing will probably be that I found out while I was working as a pharmacist is that I'm not really good at selling stuff that I don't really believe in. And a couple of examples of that would be, as pharmacists, we would obviously give out medicines, but then would be thinking of here are some possible side effects that you're going to get from this medicine, and here are some possible over-the-counter kind of supplements that you could take to support that. I wasn't super good at listening to all the drug reps that came in during our morning tea time or lunch times, and so I didn't really hear a lot of what they were saying about the different over-the-counter kind of supplement things. So I wasn't really bought into the idea of them. And so I was useless at trying to sell them, so just no good at it because I hadn't bought into it myself. And so I wasn't able to sell them very well. Another example would be, which I remember clearly, is trying to sell stuff that's in the shop area of the pharmacy. Like these days, pharmacies have so many different things in them, like from, perfumes to makeup to scarves and compression stockings and just all kinds of stuff, right? And so I was useless at selling that stuff too because I'm like, yeah, if you need it, just help yourself to it. I'm not like I definitely wasn't the sales guy in the shop stuff. nor was I for any of the supplements that I wasn't using myself. What I did recognize though was stuff that I did know about, or stuff that I did use myself, or stuff that I was actually comfortable or believed in or knew that was actually something I'd do myself. I was all good with selling those things. So yeah, those are 3 things that I learned as a pharmacist, which really kind of helped me as well these days, which is really just that trust. It's so important, building good relationship with trust with people, no matter who they are, but treating them as people. And then really being able to understand why something is important to them, getting to root causes, not just staying at the symptom level, another really important thing I learned. And then I learned that I wasn't good at selling stuff I didn't believe in. So 3 lessons from being a pharmacist. There's a bunch of other lessons, but there's just 3 of them, right? Sweet.